Chat, we have Daniel versus AJ. A matchup that's a classic in North America, and one that historically Daniel has controlled. I think AJ has been able to get wins, but I don't think as many as Daniel has had. I'm trying to think back of all the different occasions. The first time they played was one of the biggest games on my channel. So if you guys are always in here talking about old Feer every second of the day. And if we really had to divide old Feer from new Feer, you could argue it was before the Daniel versus AJ match when people started to watch the YouTube channel, because this was a very exciting match. And we are going to watch it again now with new Feer. I promise it'll still be good. I promise. This is a great shot, by the way, from AJ. Little wave dash and then the zap dash afterwards to celebrate. It's Matey AJ, by the way. No longer is it just AJ, it's Matey AJ, and that's because he has recently announced he is signed with Matey alongside Jorias and Nas. And I talked about this at some point yesterday too, about the fact that news comes late. It comes twice. First, it comes right away, and then it officially comes weeks, months after. And so we've known about this Matey thing for a while, but now it is fully official. AJ with the delayed front flip to tie this game. AJ has always been my Matey, though, you know? And I've always said that, right? Feer banned for me, chat. Daniel not going to recover back to this one. I'm going to see if I can pull up the history of the Daniel AJ matchup in the meantime. It depends on whether or not RL Duels is wanting to be quick for me. AJ has looked like a renewed 1v1er here in Salt Mine. I think he had his best performance in Salt Mine Stage 2. How it's been going for him this time around is maybe not as well based on the stuff I remember seeing. I'm going to go check AJ coming into this game 0-3. Yeah. I didn't realize it was not as well as I thought. He actually hasn't won a game yet, or a match yet, but certainly of the caliber to still be able to get a win against Daniel. Daniel on the other end of the spectrum hasn't lost the game. 3-0. AJ lost in Game 5 to CRR, lost in Game 5 to Wavy, and lost in Game 5 to Beast Mode. So he's had a bit of a tough go of it. And I actually talked with AJ not long ago where he had said he felt like he was on a really long Game 5 losing streak. And I think we counted it up. It ended up being like 8 games lost. But then in the last tournament, he turned it all around, and he had won like 5 Game 5s in a row. But it seems like maybe we're switching back to the previous trend, which is, of course, unfortunate, as he struggles to clutch out a match in the Salt Mine Stage 3. Right now he's up 4-3 against the guy who's been doing it best in all of the Salt Mine. No question that Daniel is #1, and people are starting to say maybe not just #1 in North America, might be #1 in the world after his crossover game went well against EU's Salt Mine winner in Nas. But the all-time rivalry between Daniel and AJ actually a little bit closer than I remembered. It's 5-3 in favor of Daniel. So they have played 8 times. AJ looking to try and close the gap. And it would be quite the win to beat Daniel in the form that he's in. We were talking yesterday about when Daniel peaked in 1v1 the first time around. I think it was around when he was beating Khaled and Jack, tying with Jorias in that crossover event. There was really no tournaments around that time. But I believe that Daniel was the best in the world in that moment. And he hasn't really fallen far from grace, but maybe hasn't been clearly the best, whereas maybe he's back to that form now. He's been the best in North America for many moons. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm talking about everywhere. Daniel, long shots, is over the top of AJ. He will bring it back to tied. Is Matey going to be playing in NA or EU? I think they're going to be playing in North America. Daniel gets a 5th as he goes to wall to air dribble. This is exactly how many North American 1v1s went down in the past. Just both players attacking each other from midfield wall to air dribbles over and over. Daniel tap over the top of AJ. AJ just barely able to get back. Little camera check from Daniel to see what he's dealing with here as he starts this air dribble. He's going to musty it to the back wall. AJ did not have to respect it. It was clearly too high, so he's able to take possession of his own. Not the best touch to the side wall, so he felt the need to rush back in order to try and maintain the possession, and he did not. He ends up handing it over to AJ. Oh, sorry, he ends up handing it over to Daniel, and Daniel will take a 2-goal lead. Who will be the first caster to actually call them M80? I'm sure they'll call them M80 when they're in RLCS for the most part. The thing is, we want M80 to stay in Rocket League, and if they end up getting mad that people are calling them Matey on the main broadcast, then I'm sure they will switch up. Yeah, I bet you the main broadcast just calls them M80. At the end of the day, they are M80. Daniel dodging the physical bump play. The defense has been the shining star of his gameplay. Yeah, we can talk a little bit about context of what these guys are playing for here as they look to try and make their way into the Salt Mine 3 finals. Now, Daniel is in. And not only is he in, he is already guaranteed to be in the bye section, the top 4. That will give you 2 chances in the playoffs. So technically, he's fighting for seed. Now, I think that that's actually pretty important, especially the way First Killer has kind of looked like the other fighter in the mix in terms of winning events. You want to avoid someone like that as much as possible. You want to avoid them till the very end even. And getting the top seed would certainly help with that. Daniel, not sure how much he got on this ball for AJ. And actually sits at the corner himself. Old Feer is your shining star? Okay. Okay. Daniel pinched this on the wall, back to the other corner. Grab himself a game number 1 win. Oh, I forgot to mention AJ. We'll explain AJ's situation in the next game. I believe he needs some wins. Game number 2. Daniel and AJ. We talked a little bit about Daniel's position and how he's comfortably into the playoffs. AJ is not technically guaranteed, I don't think. But it seems like the people he's fighting for that can maybe overtake him and push him out of the playoffs are all in the same pool, which means one of those guys is not going to be getting points. And presumably that means AJ will stay in the top 8, but I think he's almost guaranteed to be playing in the bottom bracket, especially after an 0-3 start to yesterday. But I think anytime you get a matchup against 2 of North America's top 1v1ers, you just want to show that you want to have what it takes to get a win, even more so than fighting for the points at the end of the day. I mean, a win on Daniel right now seems like the best feather you could put in your cap if you're a North American. Oh my goodness, Daniel. Ka-chow! He switched to a ka-chow goal explosion preset, which is definitely meta. Don't understand why we don't have more ka-chow goal explosions. Daniel being gifted a freebie from AJ. This has always been a part of his game. Has to try and limit those gifts where he takes an aerial that never gets on target. This is classic North American 1v1 right here. If you don't like this, you don't like North American 1v1. A nice wall to air dribble and the midfield boosts. AJ, nice wave dash to cut that ball across the net. The Vitality Fennec is clean. You can't believe it got so much hate. I think you're just wrong in this one. What if Vitality was a bad team? I think that's the best way to to describe it. It's like, yeah, maybe the world champions can make any decal look good. AJ, as the reset goes low, Daniel able to cover it. I think another thing about the Vitality decals, even before they had, you know, the best team and best player. Wow, Daniel, he's on points. Right now, he is just hitting the mark. Is that it was so bad that people were getting it as a joke. Even people, when it first came out, a lot of people were getting it as a joke too. Which is, you know, I guess also an angle you can take. But I feel like it's an angle only one team can make. Only one team can have obviously the worst decal. Daniel, really strong pop on the first touch. Gets another reset. Man, the fact that that made its way to the net, and not only that, but would have made it in, you know, on the top half of the net is absurd. That happens a lot in ones. AJ up for the air dribble bump. Pushes Daniel out of the way. And gets himself a third goal. Daniel, another flick top right, you have to think, because he's just been slotting him there, but he finally misses wide. Now he'll take this one to the ceiling. He's loving to use that flip in order to get the first reset on the ball. This time around it leads to nothing, and he's headed back to his back wall. AJ is going to dive in. Cannot get out in front of this before Daniel recovers. And the long shot from Daniel may even convert. AJ thought he had Daniel in a bad position, so he thought turning to make a play on the ball was the right call. High boost advantage. Surly would be able to stop Daniel. But he played right into the long shot's hands because you can see he still almost made it back had he retreated instantly. Likely would have been okay. Air dribble up for AJ, almost surely. Daniel's just going to wait on the ground to avoid the demo. AJ gets the resets, but nothing comes of it. Daniel wants a tough angle. Oh my goodness. You could tell this was going to be hard for the very beginning, and he was not going to back down from it. Oh my. It's perfect. Daniel lobbing the ball out to the midfield. AJ wants to attack through the air. He does not kill the bounce. He tries to chip it up. AJ meets him. But he will hand over possession. AJ has gone for a lot of bump plays. This time he doesn't. He gets around the left side of the ball, and he launches it with his reset. Basically right as he got it. Daniel was prepping for a more straightforward dribble, the kind of dribble that AJ has done pretty much every time so far this series, up until that. Ka-chow indeed, as Daniel gets a kickoff goal. AJ, why could he not get back this one? I want to see. 0 boost for him. How close was it? Ah, it felt close. Wave dash kickoff for AJ. Zap dash on the next recovery as well. Daniel pre-jumping the dribble. AJ still going to the air. Says, no way you could wait there that long, but he can. Daniel just goes to the ceiling and intercepts the ball. AJ thought absolutely no way will Daniel still be there. I'll just go in the air because he has to fall down, right? He has to come down to the ground, and there's got to be a window to go over him. But no, He ends up playing right into Daniel's hands, who gets a little reset and stalls himself up on the ceiling. And then intercepts for the takeaway and the goal. So now AJ trying to go low with Daniel showing defensively high. Daniel's just going to back off this ball. Decided there was nothing to be made of that possession. And it's another air dribble bump attempt. Daniel gets around it. And I think Daniel, who could have played this quickly, has decided to just go to the sidewall almost for fun. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I'm excited he's going there anyways. Now him and Daniel just sitting nice back to front, as AJ has incentive to do that. He's trying to hold Daniel back so he could eventually get a takeaway. AJ on the demo, so he's got 3 goals to make up in 22 seconds. And AJ does go delay kickoff. Daniel seems to handle it. Actually, now AJ has a chance on a long shot. That should be a goal. And it is. More kickoff shenanigans from AJ. You can see he's shifted slightly in field because he's expecting Daniel to not just try and force the ball to the corner. He's expecting Daniel to try and win it towards the net. And so he moved to be there, but Daniel just pushed it straight forward. So he goes around AJ. AJ will intercept this one, but that's hitting ground. And gain number 1, or gain number 2, right? We'll go to Dan the man. Game 3. Daniel and AJ. Daniel picking up right where he left off. Didn't lose a single match yesterday. Doesn't seem to be planning on losing today. AJ out of the Vitality Fennec and into the Team Secret Fennec. Wow, what a shot from Daniel. He just can't miss. It seems like every touch he makes finds its way into the net. And somehow over the top of AJ too. There was almost no window for that shot. Avoiding AJ and getting the ball in, but it's exactly what he does. AJ now air dribble bump. This one will work. AJ losing this kickoff into the orange half, but might not be a terrible position for him. Him and Daniel still fighting for the first real possession of this kickoff. And it looks like AJ might be giving it by missing there at the midfield, but he actually does recover. Daniel to his own back wall in there. Now finally Daniel has a bit of space, although he just gave it to AJ. Wow. You know, they vied for possession for so long. As soon as Daniel seemingly had a bit of space and control, he just chips this ball away. Maybe he was scared of a 50, but that's just a fake. And AJ will take the free pass to the midfield. Daniel, a little bumps to start this dribble. Forces this 50 to the ground. AJ recovers. AJ with a 2-1 lead in game number 2, or game number 3. AJ playing slow. Daniel has no issue with that. He seems very content just shadowing and playing passive defense. He's done such a good job at it. It's hard to blame him. AJ's had some success with bumping, but it's not like that has been purely the answer. Daniel gonna let this ball fall to the ground. Now with 12 boost, he starts his dribble the other way. AJ really not making him think twice. You know, 12 boost is a tough position to hold on to the ball to if you have someone maybe challenging or fake challenging or making you make some kind of play, but AJ backed off. Just allowed Daniel to cruise down the field. Now Daniel looking to try and pinpoint the top right again, something he's been able to do many times. AJ going to keep him out. AJ, low reset play. High likelihood of a counterattack, but just a bit awkward in the corner. Daniel didn't get the play he wanted. AJ faking the pre-jump on Daniel's air dribble. Maybe not so much faking it as just reacting, and when the dribble never came, coming back down to the ground. AJ loses control. Daniel had so much offense in this series. Certainly the lowest scoring 2.5 minutes for him so far. As he hands AJ the ball. Not seemingly where you want to do, but he plays so well out of defense. He's almost making an argument for it. Like, hey, listen, I can't find ways to score with the ball right now, so I'm just going to give it to you, and you're just going to mess up your shot, and I'm going to save it, and then I'll score. And it works fairly consistently, it seems. AJ in his zap dash. Don't bring him back in time. Daniel, kickoff goal. Just like that, he kachows his way back into the lead. Wave dash kickoff for AJ. Daniel lobbing him up a dribble that he is going to decline because he's expecting a Daniel pre-jump. He wants Daniel to be more awkward, so he'll take the second attempt. And Daniel's up in the air and gets demoed, so really smart play from AJ. It's interesting to see these advancements happen in real time. The pre-jumps have become so good that now the offenders just don't take the first pre-jump. They don't take the first dribble. Normally you want to play as quick as possible to try and outplay your defender. That's no longer the case. You want your defender to pre-jump, land awkward, and then take your dribble, because they'll have a much harder time making that second attempt. Daniel, is he going to keep this at crossbar height the whole way? He pretty much is, but AJ does get a save. As Daniel backs off the ball. Daniel over the top of the ball, and never what you want to see. He had to get back down underneath it, and AJ actually decided not to challenge, which is kind of unheard of to me. I thought for sure he'd try and take it away. Normally that's such an unfavorable position for the dribbler. AJ tried to snipe the top of the net. Daniel pinches with the crossbar to save. Keeps himself in a tie game in a crucial moment where every goal might be the difference. AJ just putting a double jump on net. Going to be easily handled. And Daniel wants to go for the fake the first time around. Thought he could maybe land and follow up. Oh, what a great flick. Got so much height on it. AJ uses the backboard to pinch it away, but now Daniel to the skies. AJ has to sit and wait as he's low on boost, but Daniel puts it down low enough that AJ able to get the save. AJ still low though. Can Daniel find a way to bring this back? Ground pinch won't do it. AJ cuts it off. It's been solid defense from AJ these final moments. Now he'll take a dribble of his own. Daniel faking the challenge in early. Maybe he gets AJ to launch the reset. AJ not giving up on the play. Daniel also not seemingly wanting to force the ball into the ground. He is allowing it to stay up too. Now he will dunk. Can he get underneath this? Is it not going to be overtime? It's not. Daniel wins in regulation as AJ keeps the ball up in hopes that he could find some offense, but instead he becomes the shelf for which Daniel sets up his shot and wins in a 3-0 sweep.